أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد الفاتح الخاتم وعلى آله أقدم الذين. Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to present to you the third series of our discussion on philosophy of religion. If you can remember, we had the first series, the second one, and this is the third series. Anyway, perhaps one may wonder, why do we title the topic of our discussion the philosophy of religion? Does that mean that the topic is going to address the entire religious beliefs known to us and even those that are unknown to us, or how? Well, as far as Islam is concerned, or as far as Muslims are concerned, the Holy Quran has said it all, that inna dina indallahi al-Islam. The only religion, or the right religion in the sight of Allah, is the religion of Islam. And thus, that means that when religion is mentioned here, it means the religion of Islam. And more importantly, the definition of religion in its broader sense is it covers not only the legislative code of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It started way back from the time of Prophet Adam down to the last and the seal of all prophets, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in this, you can understand that while there is what you call the essence of God, or Zatullah, and then his attributes as sifat, then his names, his asma, then his actions, that is af'al. These are fundamental to the discussion of divinity. One cannot discuss the divinity without one discussing the topic of the essence of God, his attributes as sifat, then his names asma, then his actions. The essence of God is beyond human comprehension. So the only way the universe can understand anything about the Almighty Allah is through his actions. Those who convey the message from the Almighty Allah to the kingdom of creation, known as apostles, messengers, envoys of God, have contact with the Almighty Allah through his names, his attributes, as well. That is his name and his attributes. And they convey these realities to the creatures, specifically to the human beings and the jinns, because the message is meant only is meant only to be received by human beings and the jinns, and no more. The Almighty Allah in the chapter of Surah Al-Zariyat, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wa ma khalaqtul jinna wal insa illa liya'budun, ma uridu minhum min rizq wa ma uridu an yut'imun. I have never created the jinn and the human beings except for the purpose of worshiping me. I need no accumulation of wealth from any of them. Neither do I need to be sustained by them. Neither do I need them to sustain me, to feed me. In fact, Inna Allah huwa Razzaq. The Almighty Allah is the one that nourishes the entire universe. Zul Quwwatil Matin is the nourisher of the entire world and even beyond. Zul Quwwatil Mateen. So the Almighty Allah, having manifested himself through his messages that he sent down across the history of humanity in the hands of his prophets, and as I said earlier, right from the Prophet Adam down to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they conveyed the messages to their people. What is the message all about? That is what this topic is there to discuss. First and foremost, when you say the philosophy, we know the common philosophical questions as to why, where, when, and how. These are very common questions as far as philosophy is concerned. Why, where, how, and where. So, first and foremost, and of course, sometimes they may ask who. And that is the assignment of the prophets. The messages are there to address these philosophical questions. First and foremost, the first fundamental question, as we discussed in the earlier series, that we need to ask is, why are we here? Why? For what purpose are we created? Where? Where are we headed to? When? When were we initiated as creatures? Who is the author of the universe? Who manufactured the universe? Who crafted the universe, the physical and the conditional space in which we live? Who crafted it and for what purpose? These are very interesting questions. Most of us used to run away from such questions, but I can tell you, such questions constitute part of the philosophical debates raised by the Holy Quran during the Prophet's stay in Mecca. Because the only way you can convince a non-Muslim to understand the message is to engage him philosophically, is to engage him logically. And that is exactly what the Holy Quran did. In fact, not only that, sometimes the debate is not only initiated by the Holy Quran. The questions that the unbelievers should ask used to be advanced by the Holy Quran itself. That is why Islam is the only religion that can stand the philosophical discourse or philosophical, that is, it can provide answers to philosophical questions, because there are quite a number of passages of the Holy Book that convey such debates that were initiated by the Holy Quran between the religion and the Meccan pagans. So the question of why are we here, or where are we from, for example, the Almighty Allah provided answer. In fact, not only did he answer the question, he asked the same question. He asked the people of Mecca the same question, and they failed to provide answers. In fact, before they answered the questions, the Almighty Allah answered it on their behalf. The Almighty Allah said in the chapter Surah to Yunus alayhi salam, قُلْ هَلْ مِنْ شُرَكَائِكُمْ مَنْ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ. Is there anyone, any of the deities you worship, is there anyone that can develop or initiate the kingdom of creation and then can raise it back to life after its destruction? Is there anyone with that capacity? Of all the idols you worship, or any objects of worshiping, that is anything that you worship, is there any a deity that has the power to initiate the process of the kingdom of creation and then raise it back to life after its destruction? Of course, obviously there is none. Qul, tell them, Allahu yabda'ul khalqa thumma yu'iduh. The Almighty Allah is the only one that initiates the process of the creation of the kingdom of creation of the universe, and then He is the only one that has the power to restore it after its destruction. فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ. Then why are you turned away from the truth? Why? What turns you away from the truth? So this is very important, to know the source of the universe, where it was initiated, who initiated it, and to know in addition to that, that the divinity is not a title. Divinity is a right to the Almighty Allah, and He deserves it, and Him alone, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Divinity is not a title that you can confer on any object of your choice and then decides to worship it at will. No, far from it. Divinity is the right of the Almighty Allah, and to Him alone. It is His exclusive right. So, for anything to deserve to be worshipped, that thing must have the capacity to produce a universe comparable to this one. And the other world where all the creatures will be resurrected back to life, and then the judgment will be conducted. Those that will deserve to, those that the believers will have their way to paradise, while the unbelievers will be driven to hellfire, God forbid. And no one needs to be told that there is no any such being that is in a position to create any universe comparable to this one. Because even if you say that you can develop, or you can take the substances of this universe and build a magnificent environment as big as this world, then you are late. You know why? Because the substances you use in constructing such so-called universal space is not yours. You did not initiate it. You pick it from the universal space created by the Almighty Allah. You yourself, even the hands you use in crafting the so-called space, do not belong to you, were crafted by God. The mind you use, the intellect you use, whatever, all the resources, all the properties you use in creating anything were initially originated and created by the Almighty Allah. So this will tell you that there is virtually no way that one can compare the power of God with any other power. So the self-proven reality is the fact that there can be only one and single God worthy to be worshipped. And no one can doubt this. And then, how would He prove this to us? He sent prophets. Those prophets did not use any means of coercion in getting us to believe in their messages. Rather, they used logic and philosophy to convince us that the messages they conveyed were quite true. For example, as I said earlier, the debate in the chapter Surah Yunus, قُلْ هَلْ مِنْ شُرَكَائِكُمْ مَنْ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ قُلْ اللَّهُ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ فأنا توفكون قل هل من شركائكم من يهدي إلى الحق قل الله يهدي للحق أفمن يهدي إلى الحق أحق أن يتبع أمن لا يهدي إلا أن يهدى فما لكم كيف تحكمون. The Almighty Allah went on to engage the Meccan pagans further in the debate that since you have conceded the right to, that is, you have conceded to the argument that the Almighty Allah is the only one that initiated the kingdom of creation and brought it into existence without seeking support from anyone, without him being assisted by anyone, that is the only one that crafted the universe. Then take this question, قُلْ هَلْ مِنْ شُرَكَائِكُمْ, is there any of your deities مَنْ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْحَقِّ, that can guide to the right path? Here we may wonder what kind of right path is meant here. Is it the right path to paradise, or the right path in our material life, or what kind of right path? Of course, when right path is mentioned, it implies not only the right path to paradise or the right path to the true religion. No, not only that. It also implies the right path on how to survive materially. Because for you to understand the wider concept of the right path here, you need to make reference to the chapters of Taha, where the Almighty Allah said, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, that is in, while narrating the debate between Moses and Aaron on one hand, and the Pharaoh of Egypt on the other hand, when the Pharaoh of Egypt posed this question to Moses, قَالَ فَمَنْ رَبُّكُمَا يَا مُوسَى, O Moses, you keep saying Rabbul Alamin, Rabbul Alamin. Fatiha faqula inna rasulu Rabbil Alamin. Inna rasula Rabbika fa'arsil ma'ana bani Isra'ila wa la tu'adhibhum. Qad ji'naka bi ayatin min rabbik wassalamu ala man ittaba'al huda. Inna rasula Rabbika, we are two envoys, two apostles from your Lord. So release the children of Israel and allow us to go out of your domain. فَأَرْسِلْ مَعَنَا بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَلَا تُعَذِّبْ, stop persecuting them. قَدْ جِئْنَاكَ بِآيَةٍ مِنْ رَبِّكَ, certainly we have come forward with a clear sign to prove that we are truly apostles of Allah. وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَى مَنِ اتَّبَعَ الْهُدَى. Period. The message was very